and I hope you had a very wonderful day and a very wonderful weekend. Um, the Senate chairman, the Senate committee, or the chairman of the Senate Committee on Army, Ali NDUME, has described as worrisome the decision of the federal government to borrow more funds to finance the 2022 budget. It now looks to me like in all these years, in this last 4, 5, 6 years, it's as if we've been merry-go-rounding, moving in circles, as it were, not achieving anything, not doing anything more. Let's assume that the past governments borrowed, but I think this government has borrowed so much. I don't know, but then I stand to be corrected. They borrowed so much that we hear borrowing every now and then. There is nothing that we want to do that we don't borrow money for. It makes, things more worrisome. That for everything we want to do, we want to do capital projects, we borrow. I want to believe that it's even from the money that we are borrowing that we even pay some more, that we are even servicing other debts. Pastor Adeboye mentioned how he got, anyway, it's not, he just mentioned it. In one of his sermons, he said that his friend told him that about 98% of our income, of what we generate in Nigeria, is used in servicing loan, not to pay the debt. So it has become worrisome. Very, very worrisome. And so this chairman, of course, it's good that it's coming from their ends anyway. It's good that it's coming from their end. The chairman, Senate Committee on Army, Ali NDUME, has described as worrisome the decision of the federal government to borrow more funds to finance the 2022 budget. On one of the radio stations, an analysis was done on people who travel to London, officials who travel to London to see the national leader of the APC, who returned to Nigeria 2 days ago, about so, while he was recuperating from the knee surgery he underwent in the United Kingdom. And in that analysis, millions of naira people just traveling to say hello to somebody. I want you to know that there are other Nigerians who are not feeling fine anyway. Yes, Shiwaju is a man of so many. All the same, he won't have, I don't know, but I don't think he should be angry even if somebody places a call to him. I know there are so many, just like was released, a press release was put forward by his media team, that some people called. And everybody go on business class, first class. It costs so much. It is all from this borrowed money. All from this borrowed money. Somehow there will be monies that will be taken from government coffers that would have to do with travel expenses. Yes, I have not said there's anything wrong with that. But then we could economize our travel when the man in question also has an aspiration to become a president. And I want to believe that Asiwaju is not aspiring to become a president who will come and bear a kind of burden that he did not create himself. Next year's budget of 16.39 trillion. I think when Jonathan was there, the last administration was there, we were doing between 3 and 4 trillion. But just 6 years down the line, we're already doing 16.39 trillion. And this is because we have cut down on some things. Presented by President Muhammad Buhari on Thursday, has a deficit of 6.26 trillion. Nigeria's proposed 16.39 trillion budget raises more questions, less hope. It raises more questions and less hope. Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed had said the government would source more loans to fund the deficit. Senator NDUME, in a statement on Saturday, said the government's proposal to finance the budget by borrowing more is worrisome. It's worrisome. He instead advised the executive to cut down personnel and recurrent costs and increase revenues and plug all leakage. Just my thoughts. But we seem not to be cutting down personnel and recurrent costs. We cannot be borrowing to do things that don't, if it's not adding value, then there is no point doing them. If it is not needed, if for instance it's not going to generate, more funds, there is no point borrowing money to buy a car. You said because everybody is driving a car, so I must buy a car. And you do not have a business that can pay for the car. You do not have a job that can pay for that car. And when we talk about it now, you go and buy something that is bigger than you. You will not even stay where your size is. You want to edge up with, the who is who. But if you are borrowing to start up a business, if you are borrowing to stock up your shop, if you are borrowing to buy a vehicle for transportation, if you are borrowing to do things that, will generate more funds, that's reasonable. But you don't cut down personnel recurrent costs and you keep borrowing to fund, next budget and next budget and next budget. It is worrisome and alarming. The estimated budget for recurrent expenditure for the projected year, which is 6.83 trillion naira, represented 41.7% of total expenditure budget. This is still on the high side, NDUME said. He also advised that the Presidential Economy Advisory Committee and finance experts should be actively involved in the debt management and re-evaluation of our debt profile. The Borno South Senator, however, commended Buhari for prioritizing spending on defense and security, infrastructure and education, with the sector getting a combined 5.15. Infrastructure gets 1.45 trillion, 8.9%. Education gets 1.29 trillion, which is 7.9%. Health gets 820 billion, which is just about 5% of the whole budget. And social development and poverty eradication gets 863 billion, which is 5.3% of the budget of the entire allocation. NDUME urged the president to pay more attention to the effective, transparent, and accountable implementation of the budget by the MDAs when passed, so that the impact will be visible to Nigerians. The National Assembly should also be more active in the discharge of its oversight function to ensure effective implementation of the budget, he added. One other report that spreads out, the budgets, let me put that to you before I go. He says, despite high budget deficits, Buhari proposes 5.23 billion to renovate villa. What are they renovating in this villa, for crying out loud? What are they renovating in this villa, for crying out loud? With so much deficits. With so much deficits. What are they renovating? 5.23 billion to renovate villa. And this same villa is not a place where the president can be, the president's health can be taken care of. He still has the trouble to see his doctors that is said to have been managing him for about 35 years. So what is the renovation? What got spoiled in the villa? That's 5.23 billion is needed to renovate. He proposed that for general rehabilitation and repairs of fixed assets in the Aso Rock Presidential Villa Abuja in the 2022 appropriation. He submitted that to the joint section, like I mentioned earlier on. And the study of the proposal showed that rehabilitation and repairs of the office building will go up about 5.18 billion, while residential building will take 55 million out of the 150 billion left expected to be spent by the presidency. In 2021 proposal, 4.85 billion was set aside for annual routine maintenance of mechanical and electrical installations in the villa. The ongoing construction of the presidential wing in the State House Medical Center is expected to go up 21.97 billion. 21.97 billion. Just listen, don't get angry yet. According to the estimates, the ongoing phased replacement of vehicles and spares will cost 1.6 billion naira compared to the 436 million naira set aside for the similar purpose in the 2021 proposal. That is more than 100% increase. Vehicle maintenance, replacement of vehicles and spare parts and all of that. 180 million is provided for purchase of tires for bulletproof vehicles, plane cars, CCU vehicles, platform trucks, jeeps, ambulances, and other utility and operational vehicles. Last year, it was 116 million. 116 million. The replacement of villa telecommunication infrastructure will take 400 million. Did he get spoiled? What happened? Oh, no. We talk as though the villa is a place where, rough. Is it a place where they play football and then when they now play the football, it hits, one screen and it breaks one thing? And I don't. Please. Communication Ministry is to spend 939 million on travels and salary. Now, travels and salary. Abuja's second runway gets additional 20 billion. And that's the second runway of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja, in 2022. It says it's estimated to go up about 67 billion naira, and that's already largely stalled due to poor funding. And so it's going to get 20 billion so that they are going to make progress in that. Education gets below UNESCO's target. We had mentioned that earlier on. Health gets increased budgets. We hope that in the coming year, the health sector will be able to take care of high-profile personalities in Nigeria so that they will not need to travel abroad for health, to cater for their health. Buhari's 2022 budget aimed at diversifying economy, APC. Meanwhile, the All Progressive Congress has said the 2022 budget is aimed at diversifying the country's economy and strengthening security, among others. The Secretary of the APC Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Senator John James Akpanudwe-Dehe, said the budget also aimed at reducing poverty through targeted social investment and ultimately ensuring good governance. Well, we have both looked at it together. The party urged the assembly to speedily consider and pass the budget to meet the January-December cycle achieved by the Buhari-led administration. I want to be going. Please share the video and please drop your comments. It's becoming worrisome. I think we should talk about it. And maybe as we talk about it, somebody will see something and will, pick something from some of the things that you will say. So make your comments as civil as possible, please. Make your comments as civil as possible. Thank you very much for watching. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a very wonderful week ahead of you. God bless you. I hope you have a very wonderful and wonderful